Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn on the right side as the, was this Amber Blossom? Yep, Amber Blossom Andy. We got Gimmiecandy. Spawn on the bottom left side as a Cobalt Ice Kindle. We got CompanionTrapezoid. The weird cousin to the Companion Cube, to say the least. This map, I don't think I've ever cast before. It looks like you start off 4 black boats. That's quite a bit of black boats. It looks like it is a 3-base map, but this one is blocked. You will need an artillery piece to clear that one out. There is a shore here, so you can traversement here. You can use a black boat to build infantry and then push them forward web directions. Got some seaports along the side. This one, of course, surrounded by shores, so no battleships in this sort. This one can develop battleships and get to some blue water, but the coverage is not great. Though we'll cover the HQ from being captured. There's also airport that needs to be landed on. Luckily, you do start off a black boat. And number of cities is along the same as well. So, let's go ahead and get started. Pair of infantry. Why did I say pair of infantry? It's the literally turn 1. Your course players can go for infantry. My mind just melted. There's also a pair of comp towers here, which looks like can be contestable. Does put a round into the pipe scene, you monster. You have T-coppers for both sides as well. Boosts that one and drops off. Infantry, and recon. Kindles always seems like a interesting CO. She takes, you have to really think when fighting as her and against her. I always love Kindle as a CO play, seeing her play. It's just a very different CO. The only CO that has more complexity is probably Sonya. And that's not necessarily a good thing. Got an artillery here. May want to try barrage the pipe scene, but that's just simply an infantry base. It shouldn't be too big of an issue. After all, a land base to move tanks down this way, to have a long traversement, might as well pull out tanks and things that sort from these 2 bases. We have a pair of tanks deployed up by Andy last turn. Looks like a decent amount of properties on this map. If both players 35 property capture for a win, Kindle's high society is a bit more of a possibility in this map, isn't it? With the higher damage. And the artillery does take a shot at the pipe scene. Not so sure why. Like I said, I don't think it'd be a good spot to deploy tanks to go around the long way. If you do start deploying on tanks, you're going to probably go for triple tanks. Or something of that sort. At that point in time, you're going to, might as well tank, and battle copter than the last one, infantry. This black boat's actually getting pretty low in fuel. There is a seaport for you can claim here to repair or resupply. Same here. I suppose occasionally you will have to resupply and go somewhere else in the meantime. Guess we're going to wait and see if there's any. Those for the pipe scene there. So it doesn't have to rely on it. So maybe if the black boat gets low on fuel, it can go somewhere else. Black boat's down to 15 fuel. And this seaport's not captured. Going to see some conflicts here soon. Hits that infantry unit twice. Hits that infantry unit twice. Puts around the pipe scene there with the artillery as well. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and infantry. Right now, Andy has 21,000 income. Kindle only has 17, so she's pretty far behind at the moment. I see 3 property captures this turn for her. Infantry, recon, infantry, saving. Oh, and battlecopter up here instead. Does spot this tank a little bit late. Tank ain't here and Battlecopter heading over here. But they're in a position where they can always head down south for the winter. Battlecopter, infantry, 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 and Battlecopter. Quite a bit of deployment there. Takes out the recon, but will potentially get double tapped by tanks, but they'll both be vulnerable being next to this property to receive bonus damage. So this could be a bit of an ambush laid by Kindle instead. What's around the pipe scene? There's apparently a pipe scene right there I missed. I have no understanding why it's there. There must be some sort of map design to it. Tank, recon, infantry. Interior, Battlecopter, infantry, and recon. Getting that infantry unit twice. It's that infantry unit there and there. Battlecopter, interior, infantry, infantry. Over here, not too much for both sides. There's a lot of infantry versus a handful of infantry unit. Over here is a big contestation part. Tank does strike tank, tank hits artillery, tank hits infantry. Problem is this tank is next to its property. That's a bad call, I would say. Not to mention, Urban Blight is very likely. Artillery could soften up this tank here, then use Battlecopter to perhaps finish it off. I have a feeling there's going to be Urban Blight next turn. Infantry, tank, and Battlecopter. Does take out that infantry unit there. Try and probably get enough power charge for Urban Blight. Tank hits tank. Pops Urban Blight. Probably could have not taken a shot at this one here. Probably could have finished this one off, then get a boost strike onto that tank there. But here's the boost strike. One shot's the tank. Interior hits the tank there, does not finish off. Battlecopter hits tank. Tank hits tank. Infantry hits tank. But yeah, I think could have played that a little bit better. Interior finish off Battlecopter. Andy's pretty close to a hyper upgrade. Which is why I made him for increased firepower and plus one movement to range. Any healing he receives is always going to be quite nice, but it's always going to be a little bit of a situational part. Though it seems like a pretty good time. Got 6 health tank, 8 health Battlecopter, 9 health Battlecopter. And a bit of fractional damage across the front line. Oh, pops hyper repair. Looks like they just want to get a bit of power charge consumption. So goes for a basic power repair. Goes from 135 to 144. Can't tell you if that's a good idea or bad idea. Maybe better just I had to save it up and go for, get the increased range and firepower. Battlecopter, infantry, and infantry. Oh, I could have sworn possibly could have seen a tank hit that anti-air there, but there is no tank in range. This Catch of Progress has 1 remaining. Hits that tank twice. It's the Battlecopter with boosted striking, some great damage there. Goes to recon, tank, infantry, and Battlecopter. Interior hits Battlecopter. Interior hits Battlecopter. Both players have the power available now. Battlecopter hits tank. Battlecopter hits tank. Finish it off. Of course, now there's Battlecopter next to the city for boosted strike. I mentioned that Kindle's anti-airs are also in range. Tank, Battlecopter, infantry, and infantry. Now, Kindle has 23,000 income versus 26,000 income. Handful of despicable neutral properties left in the field, at least this one here, and of course the lab in the center. Kindle does actually get benefits, I think, from High Society from this, so it's a good idea to capture it. Yep, Ben so far, very good brawl. Anti-air hits Battlecopter. Battlecopter should be able to take out Battlecopter, then Anti-air should be able to take Battlecopter. Does use that on that one there. Did not finish it off there. Oh well, finished off there. We do have a hyper upgrade available, which could get this 6 or 1 health Battlecopter at 8 health. Maybe would have been a good idea to get the Battlecopter, finish off the 9 health Battlecopter. They use the 3 health Battlecopter, take out the 1 health Battlecopter because of hyper upgrade. Will we pop hyper upgrade? Will it take some shots first, then hyper upgrade? High Society is now available, which can be very nice. Right now, High Society would provide 24 times 3, so 72,000, not 72,000, 72% firepower bonuses, which is very significant. And her urban attack goes from 40% to 130%. So approximately plus, well over 200% firepower from attacking from urbanized property, which is actually absolutely absurd. Andy ends turn for 157, Kim starts turn 116, but I think she's going to go for Urban Blight this turn. Ooh, full High Society. Now her tanks will reliably one-shot these. Oh god. I think that's going to do like 150% damage? No. %209%. That's dead. I love. Kindle gets some really stupid firepower bonuses. How much did that anti-air take out that Battlecopter? 230%. Oh, it's dead. Just ignore the bad replay. That was my fault. That High Society was okay, but not actually particularly great. Oh, good. That was a pretty good amount of damage there from 4 health Battlecopter. After all, we're talking about like a plus 200%, minus 60%. Still did more than a full health Battlecopter without a superpower or power, or day-to-day. This takes a shot there. He's going for the hyper upgrade. A lot of wounded units. There's hyper upgrade. Gets plus some movement, as well as a good amount of health restoration, plus 10% firepower to boot. Anti-air, Battlecopter, Recon, and Recon. Battlecopter, tank, his team infantry unit. Getting some good hits on those Battlecopters, or on those tanks up north. 3 Battlecopters up north. Only 1 Battlecopter and 2 health anti-air can be put up to 5 the day-to-day repairs in the Black Boat. Right now, Kindle has most of her forces focused on south. Does get a strike there. Took the retaliation though. Urban Blight is now available. I don't think that would be particularly good. Does not take out that Battlecopter there. Booster strike there. Infantry does take that out, that one. It's that infantry in there. Takes out that Battlecopter there. Hits that infantry thrice. Once there. Wooden Battlecopter gets a bit of damage here. Trying to flip a property. Puts it around in that pipe scene. And that T-Copter is actually getting pretty low in fuel. Down to 23 fuel. And this T-Copter down here is on 22 fuel. Infantry, tank, and Battlecopter. Picks off some units down there. Interrupts the capture. Infantry tank anti-air. Of course, Kindle can simply do her standard retaliation, move the infantry off the city, put the battlecopter there, and get some good damage. Urban Blight will cause her to probably do one shot that tank in return. Takes the battlecopter, tank gets hit, and twice. Pretty close to another high society. She still has 23,000 income, so she had 24,000, 24 properties for Earth High Society. Infantry, and bomber. Does have the battlecopter there. High society is now available. Right now, Kindle does 150,000 versus 145, so they're pretty even at the moment. Gets the recon, gets trapped on the 5 infantry unit there, does finish it off. High society is now available. Bomber hits the anti-air, does finish it off. She's probably not going to go for high society nor urban blight this turn. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and infantry. Andy could go for his hyper upgrade for the +1 movement range and +1 firepower. Does go for a fighter to counter the bomber. Does take a battlecopter there. Something just tells me that Kindles may be eyeing for high society to help even out this flank, because that will allow her to one-shot the anti-air, then have the battlecopters take out a battlecopter. Here's the high society. Same firepower as last time. Takes on the anti-air. There's actually a bit more tanks there. There it's a massive 200% damage strike there. Big numbers. 143. Big numbers make tank go boom. Takes out those units there. Gets that tank there as well. Bit of clean sweep down south. A couple battlecopters still cause issues for her. Battlecopter is still perfectly fine. Gotta be careful about the possible fighter. You can estimate where your opponent's fighter could be next turn by counting tiles. Infantry, tank, and anti-air. Does take out the pipe scene there, thanks to high society. Does spot the bomber and the battlecopters. Fighter just heading down south for the winter. Infantry, recon, infantry, battlecopter. Kindle starts her turn 177 versus 170. So she's ahead about a turn. Infantry, battlecopter. Booster strike there, which could be good bait. Anti-air, recon, infantry, and battlecopter. Anti-air, infantry, and battlecopter. Hyper upgrade still available. Both are sitting on up. May come down to one big fight. Of course, Andy is more likely to strike first, but Kindle, of course, she's good at retaliation, and she can retaliate severely hard, even with just a power. Infantry, and Neo-Tank. Both sides repositioning. Battlecopter, infantry, anti-air, infantry. Starts capturing that property, trying to bait his opponent out. Now Kindle does have 26,000 income versus 24,000 income. infantry, anti-air, infantry. Interrupts the capture, fully stops the capture, get a boost strike there on the recon. Everything else is pulling him back. That could be a good bait. Doesn't have good vision of Kindle's army. I think Andy's going to get crushed next turn. The front lines have collapsed, mostly collapsed on each other, and Kindle's in a good position. She doesn't have a power to utilize though. If she can pop her power, that'll greatly help her out. Takes out Battlecopter, hits the T-Copter, takes it out. Still really far away from her power. Hits the artillery or anti-air twice. It drops the capture up north. Bomber hits the unit there. Takes out that unit there. Bombers getting low on fuel. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and battlecopter. That bomber may get hit pretty hard this turn. Could use the fighter for that. Both players have high society. Looks like Andy's not going for his hyper upgrade this turn. If it takes a bit of chip damage, you could always go for hyper repair. And I think Kindle's going to use a high society. High society has been summoned. She's at 29 properties. She will one-shot a tank on open plains and equal ground right now, looks like. Additionally, 29 properties, so she's effectively has, what, 87 increased percentage firepower? Which is quite insane. Additionally, there's a neo-tank next to a property there. He could, takes the anti-air, no problem. Anti-air could take out the fighter, no problem. One-shots a lot of that stuff there. A battlecopter could get a good booster strike there onto that neo-tank from the city, and I think that should be a good call. Getting a lot of good damage there. And here comes neo-tank versus battlecopter. %61% damage minimum. Finish off the neo-tank there with a pair of battlecopters. Does get trapped down south, takes out a good number of units. I think Andy pushed too far forward. No good time to pop his superpower. Fighter does get a bit of resupply there. Insert 229 versus 102. And does go ahead and resign. Yeah, that's definitely a good turn to resign, honestly. This is Ann Grade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.